Alright, get your butt here, boy. Bring that ass here, boy.
This guy, after we talk about that prison,
Nah. Oh, it's gonna be funny. But anyway, I'm back again with the reaction video. We're gonna look at Chian again, grilling another part of the segment where she's having a local session with Myron from Fresh and Fit. So interested to hear what they say. Ready?
yeah,
Let's go.
Your standpoint on women is going to change the moment you meet the right woman. Yeah.
That's cute, but no. I mean, I have, I've had love for women, but I'm never gonna fall in love with a woman because when you fall in love with a woman, what happens is you start to lose grounding and you start to lose that rational thought. A lot of the stupid things that men do is because of love.
So you're scared to be vulnerable
No.
and let yourself go and be in love. Like you're going to block yourself from emotion and to feel for something that could be really amazing for you because you're scared to be vulnerable.
No, because I understand that men and women are different, and men love women far differently than women love men. Men love women for real. Women love men.
Women love men for real.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Women
they do.
love men under the premise that they provide value. Men love women idealistically. Women tend to love men more from an opportunistic standpoint.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in real quick because I don't like what Cheyenne does sometimes in the sense that she puts words in people's mouths just to fit her narrative. She didn't say anything about not wanting to be vulnerable at any point, but then she's like, no, so you're afraid to be vulnerable. That's not what he said. So yeah, I don't like that. Secondly, I forgot my point. Okay, jump in. I'll try and remember it later.
for me, the thing is, it's because of the definition of love in this day and age that people struggle to want to be in love. So for me, again, going back to my thing, my definition of love, there's a lot that, love is patient, love is kind, and it, goes on and on. Slow to anger, but then also love is sacrifice. And because people don't have this, people have different definitions of love. So some people, even depending on how you grew up, your definition of love might be making fun of each other and belittling people because that's the way you experience love growing up. So if you have that definition and then you come with me where I'm I'm about sacrifice, or, how are we gonna love? Because you love him differently and I have this different definition of love. So once we get to that place where we have the true definition of love, because I believe that the truth is the truth and it's absolute, right? So if love is, there's one definition for it, then that should be the only thing. But people might have different beliefs, right?
I resonate with the second part. Yeah, I think it's different things for different people, and what works with your relationship works with your relationship, because how one couple may love is completely different from the other, and it may not work for them in that sense at all.
Yeah.
So I think find your ways together, and then it will work better. But yeah, in context with this video, he also mentioned that women and men love differently. It's an interesting point. I think they do, but not in the exact way that he said. So I think men can love for real, women can love for real as well.
Well, why did you have to do that for women?
Oh no! Sorry, I just no.
Men's love for real.
I meant to. Good one. I meant to do it for both, because what does love for real mean? You know what I mean? That's what I mean. It's such a weird thing to say, love for real.
Yeah.
So I think both can love for real.
Also gets me to a place that there has to be one definition, because if people are saying for real, one true definition for love. Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the thing you mentioned that men. This is a deep topic because some people agree and some people disagree. But a lot of what's going on nowadays is that, like you mentioned, men are loved on the condition that they can provide.
Yeah.
And women are loved more unconditionally if you compare the two. So if you look at what a lot of men look for in women, for example, top 3 things. If you look at surveys, a lot of the time when they ask men what to look for women, the 3 things in general that they look for, the list aren't that long. 3 things they look for in general: is she attractive? In no particular order. It might differ for different men. Is she attractive? Is she can she hold a conversation? Is she intellectually stimulating? Can we talk for long periods of time? Will I not get bored of her? And third thing, is she kind? Does she have a heart? Can she tolerate things, etc., etc.? Those are the 3 main things. You can check that. But for women, a lot of the time when they ask them, the lists are generally a lot longer, and they're very specific. Hobbies. What does he do? What does he do? So it's definitely one of the top 2 or top 3 things. sense, dress style, what books he reads, you know, a lot of like things that may not be so conducive to a long relationship, but regardless, a lot of the time if they don't feel that these things match or they aren't there, they just don't feel the person's vibe or whatever. But that's just, you know, generally speaking. But like I said, the two different ways of loving or whatever, a lot of the things like what the men does, loved on the condition that they provide, you know what I mean? For a lot of the time, men aren't looking for how much a woman makes. They don't really care. You've seen so many stories where men so much date down or marry down or whatever and marry a woman that doesn't make as much money as him or nearly as much money as him, might even be struggling in life. But catch is, she is attractive a lot of the time if you see those things. Or she might be good to him, intellectually stimulating, stuff like that. She provides those basic needs that he feels that he can deal with. But on the other hand, a lot of the time, women tend to date up, like we see a lot of the time, you know what I mean, on the condition that a man provides. So if you flip the roles, a woman that's struggling, working as a helper or something like that, could be pretty or whatever, but you know, she happens to stumble upon this guy who's got it all going on. He's got a big house, he's working, he's doing well for himself. So she has got the impression that this guy can provide, and that makes sense to an extent. So, I mean, that's what I pick up from what he says on those two different things. Not exactly to that extent, but
do you think there's any problem with that? Like,
it depends on the expectations.
Because
for me. So if a woman goes in the expectations that the man has to provide and do things, I think it's also another thing, like what we said before, what do you bring to the table? For me personally, I think it's completely irrational and unfair to expect things from a person that you can't provide yourself, or if you can't even somewhat match them on the same level. You know what I mean? To an extent. I think it's unfair, dude. Why don't you think it's...
I don't think that's the case, because our role as men is to protect. So, like, sometimes you can find a really genuine, I'm not talking about a gold digger or anything, I'm talking about like genuine people now, like, and you can find a real genuine person and she's looking, okay, what do you do? Like, she's asking Hamlin, what do you do? Another thing is, it's to provide protection, because the sad reality is that money does provide some form of protection, and now you can, okay, so if he's focused on his career and he's doing something and he's making a decent amount to take care of you and possibly a family, you think about, okay, yeah, we can handle the medical aid. If anything happens, I know that, like, I'm going to be okay, you know? And so when I look at it from that point of view, I don't see it as a problem for men to be asked those questions, like, what do you do? Or even if it's like not how much money you're making now, like, what are your plans for the future? I respect that one as well.
Okay, no.
Like,
for me, I get that. I get my issue was that if you expect certain things from someone, I think it should be fair for you to provide on a similar level, on a similar basis. I'm not saying,
but don't
I'm not saying if you expect someone to make a certain amount of money a month, I should make the same. But what can you provide that should be similar in that context? You know what I mean? Don't just come with your list. This is what I need. This is what I want. This. Are you making this? What are your future plans? Blah blah blah. And then you got like nothing going for you. Either way, opposite sex. Either way, I'm saying. I think that's completely. That doesn't make sense for me. Like,
because like for me, how I see it is like, what is the other person bringing to the table? So like, if I'm bringing the financial security, are you bringing the spiritual and mental security as well? And I'm not.
That's
saying,
what I'm saying.
It's
like providing on the same standard. It's not the same thing, but you're still putting something on the table.
When you bring something to the table, it doesn't have to. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. It doesn't have to be, oh, I give $50, you give $50. I give 100,000, you give no. It's like it's
different contributions.
I bring food. Can you make that into a meal? Whether it's the other way around, like your woman brings food, can you make that into a meal? You know, if those are your roles, like you wash the dishes, for instance, and then she mops the floor. But it's about coming together, and so from that regard, like when you say it like that, are you bringing something of equal value or something of value as well? That's fine. But I believe that also for us guys, if it wasn't for women, we wouldn't work as hard as we do, to be honest. Because our main motivation is to provide for a family.
That's another thing in the video that Myron mentioned, is that a lot of the things that men do for love, or I can't remember how he mentioned it, out of stupidity or whatever. That's a whole other topic. I feel that a lot of men's motivation to
Yeah.
get up in the morning and do stuff.
It's-
If you trace it back and keep going,
I want to protect. I want to provide for a family one day. That's why I do a lot of the things
maybe
I
for
do.
family, it could even just be to flex on chicks, bro. Like a lot
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
there's
No,
so
but
many
that's-
different means. It
yes,
all goes
that's
back
the-
to woman. You know what I mean? That's my whole point. That's what I'm saying. So,
But
like,
I don't have a problem with women demanding. It's just that if she's demanding and she's not,
then provide. That's fine. Then
Yeah,
do what you can. Let's
yeah,
see
but
what
if
you can
she's not
exercise.
in line with you, then okay,
Then
that's
you
cool.
just-
Like
yeah.
people forget that. Like my thing is always, I'm not trying to go and get 10,000 women. I'm just trying to find that one. So at the end of the day, like if people could have this mindset, if they don't match with you, like, and if they're not happy with what you bring to the table, it's cool. Have a blessed day. Take care of yourself. I hope you have a good life, and hopefully you find that someone that ticks all your boxes. And that's the thing. But people get hurt, like, sometimes like, how can she want this from me? Hey, you don't have to be there. You don't have to provide that. You know, it's a problem if she lies and then later on she comes with the long list. Then I understand. But yeah, you know, yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I think we got it. That's pretty much all I have to say on it. And yeah, we made decent timing because I've got to go get prepped. Someone is about to disturb my peace. Yo, dude. Okay. Cheers.